Cool. So as you were getting your name established around here in the area, how many beats did you think you were making, a week or a month? And what percentage of those beats did you have for sale, or did you think were bangers?
So back then they weren't really for sale. It was just really like, yo, I need to click up with some artists, you know what I'm saying? And let's do something, you know what I'm saying? Because I was back then I was hip to recording projects like vocals and all that. So it was more about just clicking up with people and trying to build a team, a unit or whatnot. But like, no lie, like I was making beats. I mean, you gotta understand, this is when I was out of school. I didn't have a job. I was literally, the thing I lived and breathed for was making beats. So I would wake up and make 3 or 4 or 5 beats a day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when I say make beats, I mean like I'm sitting there all day, like just trying to make beats all day.
Right. How many of them do you think were bangers?
I mean, of course, if I play some shit today, I'll probably be like, that was trash.
Right.
But back then,
compared to now, right?
Back then, I felt like everything I touched was dope. But I will say that when I moved to Louisville, there was a period of time where I was at my zenith, meaning like I really was at like the apex of my game, and everything I was touching was fire. But that was, I think I had probably like a 2-year run where everything. That's around the time when I met Static, and that's when everything I was doing was just crazy. When I was working with Native, and
I remember working with when you were working with Native. I remember that back in the day.
Everything I was touching then was just crazy.
Yeah. You know so you said back in the day, like you used to loop up soul, you were a sample producer. Did you ever have any issues clearing those samples? And if you did, what type of advice would you give to artists who are producers who produce like that today?
Back then, sampling was different. It was like it wasn't as heavily criticized as it is today.
Right.
Back then, I had no idea about clearing samples. I thought you could just sample whatever, right? But like today, you obviously have to clear samples. And if I give any advice to anybody today, I would say that if you're gonna sample, like really understand the process of clearing samples and what it takes, because it's actually a arduous process. It's not like some easy shit where you just wake up and I can do this. Nah, you gotta just give you an example. I'm pretty sure everybody listening knows Blazien's record, an artist named Blazien out of Louisville that I managed, and he's got a record named Change. If you don't know it, go check it out. Yeah. It's everywhere.
Shout out Blazien. He's definitely heating up around here.
So his record Change had a sample in it. When I first started working with him, that record was already out, and the sample wasn't cleared. So I knew that I needed to get the sample cleared. So there's a company called DMG Clearances that does a lot of clearancing for you. Just for them to look into it is $350, right? Then if they figure out, if they realize, okay, we contacted the right publishers and we can get it cleared for you, then you got to pay another $350 for them to process it. That's $700. Then you subject it to whatever the publishers on both sides, the master side and the publishing side, what they want to clear the record, right?
Make sure y'all pay attention.
So they came back and told us, like, yeah, you can use the record, but we want $5,000 for it.
Yeah.
Right? Now, okay, cool. But we're not going to grant you the usage of the actual recording. We're going to grant you usage of the interpolation, meaning that if you pay us $5,000, you have the right to go replay every instrument and recreate the sample.
Oh my!
So basically, it costs us $5,000 to literally recreate the whole sample from scratch. Man. And luckily, I had my man Kojin. Luckily, at that time, I had resources like that. He went and we played it. He replayed all the instruments. He had a singer come in and re-sing the lyrics, and then I gave it back to the original producer and said, resample it, but sample this version. And if you listen to it, you can't tell. Okay. If you listen to the YouTube versus the Spotify version, you can't tell the difference because that's how good we knock it. But it cost us $5,000.
Right, man. I remember Nipsey talking about when Jay cleared the Annie joint, and the way he did it,
and made it to where all artists could. Yeah, that's dope.
That's dope.
Only Jay could do something like that.
Right.